Hi everybody, it's Colin Stevenson here, back with my hero, John Lenhart from Milwaukee, USA. Hi John.
Hi.
Now today we have got a cracking video for you because today we're talking about leadership. Now, when we talk about leadership, we're going to look in depth to what we really think a leader is. Now, without me going too far, I'm going to introduce John. John's going to speak. John came on to LinkedIn about a year ago and he was on to find out who was really a leader and who wasn't. And this was all to do with the way that we connected. And you can find our introduction video on the YouTube channel that we've got with this video, or going back through our LinkedIn pages. But I'll put you on to John. Over to you.
Yeah, so basically for years, for over 20 years, I've been really passionate about leadership and the value of leadership and helping people defend themselves against people who say they're leaders. And so really what happened was, I've been doing this for 20 years, but the last year I went on LinkedIn where everybody claims to be a leader, and I wanted to test this for myself, see if I could help people. So, previous videos, I do everything according to a model that measures 4 thought processes. So the thing that I do to help people is to let them know that there's really only 4 thought processes, and everybody's answer to a question fits one of them. And when you understand which one it fits, you'll know how to respond and how to defend yourself. So the worst thought process, we say, is causeless, or 320. So I like to ask people, what's your definition of leadership? So if anybody comes up to you anywhere and tries to say they're a leader, all you have to do is say, what's your definition of leadership? Now notice, if they do not give you a definition, they are proving that they're afraid.
Yeah.
Which means they don't have courage, they can't handle a challenge, they can't handle tension. By definition, a person who can't give you their definition of leadership is not a leader.
Yes, 100%.
So the other 320, or the other causeless definition that I see all the time is my oldest daughter, when she went to college, this is like about 10 years ago, we were helping her buy her books. And we went in this big warehouse. She went to this big ACC school. And sure enough, the first thing I want to do is go to the leadership section. So she's got to go look for her books. I'm like, I'll be right back. I buzz over to the leadership section. There's a big section. I want to find out, what do they say is leadership? I go over, here's the big book. Big, I'm like almost 3 inches thick textbook, leadership. What's the definition? I open it up, right to the first page, first paragraph. It says, leadership is a varied and complicated field, and as such, there is no definition for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why you need a book this thick to cover the effects of leadership. This book begins with, there is no definition for leadership. Yeah. So if people can't give you a definition, they are not a leader. You should run from them.
Yes, I agree. And just since I met you in the last 9 months, just asking the question and the definition of leadership, of people's behavior, of people's anything that they say, you usually find that you have the same impact, So if we're able to ask the definition of a leader and we can't get something, that obviously shows exactly what you've said. They can't be a leader because a leader has the answer and the definition, and that's what gives them the intention.
They even have to have the quality of it. It takes leadership qualities to answer the question. That's why it's really a nice dissolve technique, is ask someone their definition. If they don't answer, you can feel confident they are not a leader. They do not demonstrate the qualities. So 94% of people are at what I call 160. They're in an animal thought process. They're floating. So 94% of people are there. And what that corresponds to is giving an effect. So if you ask people what their definition for leadership is, and they give you a bunch of effects, that is the second worst level. And the most popular one is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. I've heard that definition for over 20 years. I've been trying to tell people for 20 years how damaging this is. And so the example I give to everybody who says that to me, and I've been doing this for 20 years, leadership is influence. So let me ask you a question. if a person walks and slips on a banana peel and they influence you not to walk that way, are they your leader? Will you call them your leader?
Absolutely not.
But they influence you. So the minute they go, well, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Leadership, influence, nothing more, nothing less, which means shut up.
Yeah.
No explanation. See, you said influence. I gave an example where somebody slips on a banana peel and influences you. You have to say they're your leader. And when you start talking, you are contradicting your very own definition. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't need to say anything more. Okay? So my other favorite thing to do at this 160 level is I love to walk up to people who are teaching a leadership conference. You know, a leadership conference. And I go, I got a question for you. I'll ask them what their definition of leader is, and they'll say something about influence or having followers. So that sets me up with my next favorite question. Was Hitler a leader? And they go, well, yeah, but he wasn't a good leader. And I go, but he was a leader? They go, yeah. I go, well, good luck with your Hitler conference. This isn't a Hitler conference. He was a bad leader. This is good leadership. I go, well, that's funny because look at your banner. It doesn't say good leadership conference. It says leadership conference. Hitler was a leader. You're going to train people to be Hitler. Congratulations. Good luck with that. So this kind of leads to that other issue with the 160 is your brain works cause to effect. That's why I'm asking a definition. I'm looking for causes. If you give me a definition that's an effect, you're trying to put that effect in my brain in a place where a cause should be, and you're damaging me. These effectual definitions damage people. Now, here's proof that the person's a dictator or controlling. They want to give you a definition, but they want to control the effect. So what they do is they give an effect and they modify the word. And I'll give you an example. Servant leadership. You know, unconditional love.
Yep.
Okay, what is conditional love? We had a whole video about love. There is no such thing as conditional love. That damages your brain. The person's trying to control the effect you get out of their definition, so they're not letting go. They're still holding on to you. Servant leadership damages your brain. Your definition for leader ought to result in them being a servant. Yep. Because what is non-servant leadership? Hitler? Then Hitler's a leader. Then congratulations. So anybody who tries to modify their definition with an effect is showing you they are a control freak.
Yes. Now, I believe this comes from feeling weak and not understanding themselves, okay? Now, if I didn't like myself or didn't love myself, I would try to get you to live my life through my experience, through my thought process, because this is what I did and this is where I came from. Now, if I was able to find out more about you and change that around, it'd be a different story. And we'll go on to that obviously a bit later. So you touched on a subject that's very close to the bone for me. Now, you know how much I love people. You know how much I want to help people help themselves on a daily basis. I don't even want payment. I don't want thank you. I don't want acknowledgement. I just want to do it. Now, when I see people, and there's a job title called influencer now. I am an influencer. I influence people. I force people to do what I do, to make them do what I do, to make them a robot or to make them an animal, or to, you know, and I watch it. And when people actually use this job title, it's showing how unhealthy they are. It's showing the control that they need to have, that kind of backup of people following them. You and I have been doing these videos now for a while. We've been talking for a while. Now, it doesn't matter if we get 1 view or we get 1 million views. The reason we are doing is to touch one person, to allow them to think for themselves. That is it. Now, there's no control in that. That is letting it out to the universe, and we will attract what comes our way. Now, when we try to do a certain thing, if we were saying, okay, well, we need to post here, you all need to watch this and you all need to do this, that says treating every single person like they are an animal or a robot.
Right. So this leads to this third level. I call it 80, or, basically logical. And they give you a definition. Now, less than 1% of people will do this. And this is how you and I met. This was the first video we talked about. This is for 2 months. I asked people their definition of leader when they use the word leader first, because now I'm asking you a definition for a word you use. And nobody would give me an answer. And I thought, I think I can go a whole year on LinkedIn and not get an answer. And then you answered the question. So this is actually a good sign that somebody's got a good thought process. However, this definition usually is contradictory, or it applies to them. And we're going to talk about that at the end. But at this point, basically, if you look at it, this is a definition that they are expressing for themselves. It's their expression of this unique, of what the definition really is. So really what we're talking about now is that these people have a contradictory definition, and are they willing to talk more about it? Are they willing to do this? The issue is that there is a non-contradictory definition for leader, and that is what I call the truth. Truth is self-evident. And when you give this definition, you don't have to argue. In fact, I know people who go to leadership classes, they ask the person definition of leader, and sometimes that person will be secure enough, and you talked about knowing yourself enough, which is perfect, to say, what do you think the definition is? And when they say the following definition, there's silence. And it throws the leader, because there's no arguing with this. So the definition of leader is someone who facilitates the purpose and progress of another. That's the definition. Notice you are a servant doing that. An effect of that definition is you're serving somebody. And what that immediately leads to is the definition of a boss. A boss is someone who facilitates their own purpose and progress at the expense of others. Hitler was a boss. He was not a leader. He was a boss. And that's, in your brain, that's healthy to get those two definitions separate, because now you can defend yourself against people who claim to be a leader and are acting like a boss.
Now, I just wanted to touch on that, because I imagine there'll be a few people watching this this chat we're having just now, and they will realize that they are not a leader, and they will want to go and change to fulfill their purpose. They might want to be a leader, but then they're going to need to retract a couple of years or a couple of decades back to the point where the scenario happened that had to make them want to have this control, and this becomes difficult because they believe that they can't do it, or they're holding on.
So there's three areas. There's 3 areas where they can start making that change, okay? And so if you have the definition of leader and boss, then when you take it through an application, now we'll see an effect. So here's some effects that help you defend yourself against people who are saying they're leaders but they're bosses. But it also helps you, if you want to be a leader and you've been a boss, here's how you can change it. So the first one I say is, leaders bear pain, they don't inflict it. And Colin, you're compassion server. That's why I say compassion server is a natural leader. Compassion people want to bear pain. Yelling is inflicting pain. And there's all this data that says yelling to the brain is the same as physical abuse. So are you okay with me slapping you around? Then why are you okay with me yelling at you? You're inflicting pain. So the first measure is, you inflict pain or do you bear pain? A leader bears pain, a boss inflicts pain. Okay. Second measure, leaders love to be led. In the last video, we talked about the value of having a coach. And we said women are smart enough to go, I need a coach. They're saying, I want to be led because I want to be a leader. Men are bosses. I said that about athletic coaches. I don't want to have a coach. Why do you think I became a coach? So that I can boss everybody around. Leaders like to be led. Bosses don't like to be bossed. And that shows you the hypocrisy, and that shows you the contradiction. If it's okay, that's where these influencers are really hypocritical. So it'd be okay for me to do to you what you're doing to me as an influencer. Oh no, because I'm an influencer, you're a boss. You're not a leader, you're a boss. And finally, notice, everybody can be a leader. everybody, I can lead you, you can lead me, but there can only be one boss. So when someone says there can only be one leader, boss, whatever they say, it doesn't matter if they say there can only be one leader. They're saying there can only be one boss. They're actually proving they're a boss. Now, how can I lead you? How can you lead me? Uniqueness.
Yes.
So really, the thing is that if you act in your uniqueness towards me, you can lead me, because no one's as good as your uniqueness as you. So what I do to help leaders is I help leaders find out their uniqueness and say, now, how do you want to facilitate the purpose and progress of others? What's your unique way of doing it? So when you gave me your definition, Colin, 10 months, 11 months ago, you were sharing how you lead.
Yep.
Which is great, but it's not the definition that could apply to everybody. And so how do you like to lead other people?
Well, now this is fantastic. So since I spoke to you and gave you my first definition, my definition has changed.
As you get to know yourself.
Yeah. So not only do I know myself more now, but I want to use what I've got as my unique self to help other people find their purpose. That is my...
Okay, so here's the question.
Yes.
You want to facilitate purpose, you're facilitating purpose projects of other people. You uniquely like to help people find their purpose. Yes. Now, when you do that, how much energy do you get?
More than you can imagine.
So do you expect anything from people when you help them do that?
No.
And what do we call that?
Love.
Leaders love. Yes. That's why my next favorite definition when I go down the leadership route is, what's your definition of love? Because really, and we already did a whole video on love, the way to prove if someone's a leader or not is whether they love. Bosses do not love. Leaders love. And when I help leaders learn their uniqueness in order to love, they never need to take time off. Yeah, they can go on vacation because they want to learn to do something, but they never say, I'm so burnt out, I need to get away. If you're doing that, you are not leading from your uniqueness. So the final proof I want to say is, if somebody is a leader and they need time off because they're burnt out, they are not loving. They are not leading from their uniqueness, and that's a big sign that they're going to burn out. How could we help all these leaders not burn out, including people watching this? Love from your uniqueness. Facilitate the purpose and progress of others from your uniqueness.
Yes, absolutely. And that, again, we don't really need to talk more on the subject, because that just ended it perfectly for me, perfectly for you, and perfectly for anybody that wishes to be a leader or be led. So in other words, we all have to be led at some point, so that we can join forces and we're all leading together. We're all going forward as our unique selves. And when we do, I've found definitely in the last 11 months, I've grown to a stage where it's priceless. The information that I have taken from you has allowed me to find more of my unique self, and it's helping me change lives in other way, because they're helping themselves. It's like, wow, it's like a ripple effect, So yeah, thank you so much. Again, nice and short, to the point today, John, which is exactly as it should be. In the next video, we're going to be speaking about what you want to talk about in the next one. I'm sure it was leadership from the inside, wasn't it?
Well, we're going to show how leadership could dissolve all the world's problems.
Yeah. So brilliant. Thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking to you again. Cheers, John. Bye.